Landon and I have just finished up our war room arguments, and we're going to tell you what our top 6 consensus board should look like for the Dallas Cowboys next.
You are Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Cowboys podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'd like to thank you for making us the #1 sports podcast network. And on today's show, we are discussing our consensus board that Landon and I have put together for the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to stack the best players on how we would draft them for the Cowboys. And Landon, let's start at #1. If you had the #1 pick in this draft and you're not drafting a quarterback, who is the top prospect for the Dallas Cowboys this year?
Yeah, I think it's the same for a lot of teams across the NFL. It's Arvell Reese. I think you add the pass rush downhill ability that we saw throughout the season, combined with what he looked like at a linebacker. He's just the kind of modern NFL hybrid defender. I think it's easy for Cowboys fans to kind of fall into the thought process that, oh, you mean like a Micah Parsons because of the two positions we're talking about being pass rusher and linebacker, but he wins in a completely different way. He's just a completely different athlete, special in his own way. But yeah, I think to me, he's the top guy on this list. And I think he's been kind of near the top of my list since the early part of the 2025 college football season.
And he's not going to make it to the Cowboys at 12. He's probably not even going to make it to a spot where the Cowboys could come up with a trade package, but I think he's just everything the Cowboys would want in a edge guy that could also play linebacker, the perfect fit for Christian Parker. So that's one. Who's your second best player in this class for the Cowboys?
Well, that's where things started to get interesting a little bit, right? We have like a couple of different guys that sort of, fall into the category a little bit of who could be eligible here. I think this is honestly where I would start thinking about someone like Sonny Styles or start thinking about some of these guys. But for me, the #2 player was David Bailey, right? I think that I think at the edge, he checked all the boxes in the combine. He's just a guy that, especially with the needs the Cowboys have as a pass rusher, he comes in, with proven production. He's got the tape. He's got the techniques to kind of hopefully come in and be somewhat productive early on. And that's likely why he's going to end up being a top 5 pick probably. But yeah, I think just a great fit, especially with the kind of pass rusher you're looking for.
And he's got warts. He's not the best moving sideline to sideline. And I think he's not the most bendy player, but a lot of these other guys have warts as well, especially if you're looking at the defensive end position. I feel great about him as a prospect. I think he goes top 10 in just about any draft. So no problem there at 2. Gets really interesting at 3. Are you taking Rueben Bain with the short arms? Are you taking Caleb Downs, who's a safety? Or are you taking an off-ball linebacker prospect here, Landon?
I think at this point I probably have to pull the trigger on Sonny Styles, right? Like he's just I just think he's just a rare blend of athletic and instinctual at the linebacker position. We saw Mike Sando intentionally not leave him on his top 10 kind of mock draft created by anonymous front office people that he has kind of talked to. And that gave me a little bit of hope that maybe he still will be available to the Cowboys at 12. But I think the combine just kind of confirmed what we saw on tape. He is a freak athlete. He is really incredible sideline to sideline. And he's kind of a rare blend of that athleticism you need in a modern linebacker while still being plus sized for the linebacker position.
Yeah, and you've got 3 defensive tackles up front that can help hide him away from blockers. Not that you need to. He's 6'5", 245 pounds, and he's physical. But having those guys up front would just allow him to run sideline to sideline, which he does better than almost any linebacker prospect I've ever seen. I care a lot about positional value, but if there's a point where there's a prospect just too good and too freaky, and I think that's where Sonny Styles lands for us at #3. Who is the 4th player on our consensus big board? We'll get to that next. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. We live in a world where you can stream anything and everything, order food in minutes, and carry supercomputers in our pockets. And yet somehow buying tickets to live games still feels overly complicated between hidden fees, jumping prices, endless steps. There has to be a better way. And there is. And that's why I use the Game Time app. It gives the advantage back to the fans, and it makes getting tickets simple, whether it's NFL games, concert, and comedy events near you. I just jumped on the app to check out tickets for an upcoming game. Honestly, it took me 2 minutes. Found the game I was looking for, found the section that I wanted to sit in, and Game Time made it really easy to find my seats. 2 taps, and you have great seats locked in. Fast, easy, done. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem promo code Locked On for $20 off, and download Game Time today. This episode is brought to you by TurboTax. It's tax time for a lot of us. The old ways of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, going back and forth, wondering if they're really getting your situation via email. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade with Intuit TurboTax, which now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar that you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting with a real person and then walking out knowing that your taxes are being handled right. So head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment today. Welcome back. We are setting up the Dallas Cowboys draft board for the 2026 NFL draft. To recap, we've got Arvell Reese at number 1. We've got David Bailey at number 2, Sonny Styles at 3. Who is the 4th person on the board here for you, Landon?
It's Rueben Bain. I can only hold him off so long without putting him on this list. And I think you watch what he does on the field. And I just could not be more impressed with what he was able to accomplish at the end of the year last year, to go through that kind of murderer's row in the college playoffs and to be so consistently productive. It really did feel like when we got to the national title that because of the play of guys like Bain and Messidor, that we were truly seeing the 2 best teams in college football. And I think that Bain was one of the truly unstoppable players at the end of the year.
I tried to get him a little bit higher. I actually like him a little bit more than Bailey, but I'm perfectly fine here at 4. And I don't know how realistic it is that he falls to Dallas, because you've already heard guys like Robert Saleh say like his tape is undeniable. And it is. I mean, he is truly a dominant player despite the short arms. Maybe that works into the advantage of the Cowboys and he falls down to 12, but what a joy it would be for him to be a Dallas Cowboys player. I would love it. And it would solve a lot of positional value needs they have as well. After Bain at pick number 5 or 5th on our board, who do you got?
Caleb Downs. I mean, to me, we've talked about him being, the best football player in this draft, and I think I know he's weird to have him at number 5, but I mean, that positional value is a thing. But I think that, he likely would play a nickel role, which I think, you could increase your value conversation there. There's been rumors about some, injury stuff that's obviously unconfirmed. So we just don't really know what the deal is there. But I think you turn on the tape, a 3-year starter at 2 of the most premier schools, being coached by some of the best coaches in college football at the defensive backfield. And just, consistently being part of 2 of the best defenses of all time and being the major component, the captain, I think he's a 3-year captain at Alabama and 2 years at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And he's very much earned that. It's not hard to turn on tape for Caleb Downs and see why you want him on your football team.
And if we were ranking these players just based on talent, he would be higher, but we're ranking these based on how we would draft them if they were available. And I think for me, Downs is 5th. Maybe you could make an argument that you put him over Bain, but Downs is an unbelievable player. And again, I feel really good about this top 5. These are 5 awesome players. And if the Cowboys are fortunate enough to get one of these 5 at number 12, they're going to be in a really good spot. Things get a little bit more difficult at number 6. That's where the talent drops off a little bit. But we've got Mansoor Delane, or sorry, Mansoor. I'm gonna make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
Mansoor Delane, the cornerback from LSU. He's not the biggest, he's not the longest, he's not the fastest, but he's just a darn good cover corner. Only allowed 2 receptions of over 20 yards last year. And my favorite part, doesn't get penalized. He had 0 penalties during the 2025 season. So you get a corner that's got awesome feet, that can stick to receivers, and he doesn't get called for penalties. Sign me up.
So just to be clear too, these are all the guys that we've done that are in our consensus board for the Cowboys. So we're not including, Fernando Mendoza or any of the offensive linemen or Jordan,
Right, because I mean,
Love or anything.
Yeah, because the Miami offensive Mauoga, I believe, Francis Mauoga, he easily could be in this list. I think you could talk about Monroe Freeling, you could talk about Mendoza, but we're doing a Cowboy centric board. The Cowboys wouldn't draft Mendoza even if he was at 12. They would trade away that pick. We're talking about how we would. Well. Yeah, same with the receivers. Yeah. We're talking about how they would draft him and how we would draft him. And Delane comes in at 6,
and absolutely deserving. So I again, like I think that there's been clear. It's been clear that there's a tiering that is forming underneath him. Like I think he is the lead dog at the cornerback position, and then there's a gap, and then there's kind of the rest of the guys trickling in. I know you like Avion Terrell a lot. I think he's a very good player as well, but I do think that there is a tier difference between this guy, just because I think he is a little bit bigger, so his downside's mitigated a little bit, and I think he's a little bit more of an inside-outside player than maybe Terrell is.
Yeah, so we're going to continue this series over the next couple of weeks, assuming the Cowboys still have first-round picks. We'll check in with that.
We'll see.
But again, that's our top 6. Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Sonny Styles, Rueben Bain, Caleb Downs, and then Mansoor Delane. Tell us how you would stack your top 6 players. We would love to hear it. Send it to us at Marcus_Mosher, at McCoolBCB. You can also tweet us at Locked On Cowboys. And if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. You're going to get ad-free episodes of the Locked On Cowboys podcast, plus members-only Discord access, and so much more. And for those of you on video, we can send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA YouTube channel, and on audio, make your second listen the Locked On NFL Draft podcast. Head to lockedoncowboys.supercast.com to learn more. Again, follow Landon on Twitter at McCoolBCB. I'm at Marcus_Mosher, and we'll see you right back here on Monday.